which is Greece. Um, it's more difficult than what it is here because Greece is not as strong, like as financially strong as the Netherlands is. And a lot of people, especially young people, work in tourism, which is a sector that is very, very hit by the situation now. So they are really struggling to make the ends meet right now, and they will really struggle in the next months.
Hmm.
But I know that even the Netherlands, which is quite a strong economy, they are expecting that they will have a crisis of an increase, I should say, of like 7% of unemployment. So from 3% that it is now, it's going to reach 10%.
Hmm.
In general, again, this situation really showcases that it's a privilege to be able to stay home, and leaders should understand that. They shouldn't just say stay home, because not everyone can do that. There are people that they cannot work from home. It's a privilege to be able to work from home. And for me, this is the biggest mistake that even people like the government here did, the government in my country of origin did. They're saying to people work from home and stay home, but then there are so many people that are working in factories or in agriculture or in places like that. So it is quite hard for them to have a salary if they don't go out and work. So I think this is something that needs to be addressed from the leaders worldwide, that the policy they had for this, the stay-at-home policy, was not considerate of people that do not have the privilege to work from home.
Okay. And do you think the government is handling it the right way, or you think there could be another way better than that?
I'm not sure I'm in the position to
Just a
be
suggestion.
very,
Let's say,
yeah, just a
do you think
suggestion.
should be some sort of a general approach, or maybe a district approach? Let's say where you are now. I don't know. The city where you are now is in the Netherlands. Is what?
Hmm.
What city are you?
I am in a city close to Utrecht. It's called Wageningen. It's a very small city. So I think, in my opinion, in general, in every policy that authorities make, context matters a lot. And of course, a country must have a national policy that is giving some guidelines to the local authorities, but then the local authorities should also have um, the jurisdiction to put extra measures or take different directions if this is needed. For me, something that should be done by all governments is to take more into consideration the inequalities that come with having a universal policy, like a stay-at-home policy. For example, there are many increases in domestic violence that are not addressed. There, the issues I raised before with people that cannot stay at home, and all of these things. And these things are context specific, and these things should be incorporated into any policy about COVID-19.
Wonderful.
So I could say that the Netherlands is in general doing well, but is not doing well only because of its policy. It's doing well because it's financially strong and can take the hit from this situation.
So, how would you say this benefits the environment? How does this benefit nature, locking down the people in your country? And how does it benefit you as a person? And
Mhm.
how does it, uh, does it make you feel good? Let me use that word.
So this is actually an issue that is very important for me because I am studying the environment, and therefore, when at first, um, okay, let me rephrase that. I really think that what is happening right now, that we are seeing, for example, CO2 emissions going down, and all of these things really showcases how anthropogenic climate change is, the current climate change is. it really showcases that it is the big industries and the big polluters that are creating all of this, because the moment of, like, when factories are shutting down, we can see a clearer sky. But this shouldn't be by no means used as an excuse to talk about having population control or things like that, because I unfortunately have seen many NGOs and many environmental organizations using this as a thing of saying, oh, look how bad humans are. Not understanding that we can actually with nature in harmony, not pollute that much, not consume that much, especially us here in Europe and in other countries with a lot of consumption. I think we can learn a lot of things from this, that we really need to change our patterns of consumption and production if we want to live in harmony with nature, because especially people from where I come from have forgotten about it completely. So I'm very happy to see nature, like the earth, taking a breath finally.
Mm.
And I really hope that we can find ways to make this into an improvement in our way of living.
Wonderful. That is wonderful. We are so glad
Thank
to
you.
hear from you that the nature is breathing, and we are all happy, and we hope that everything will actually get back to normal, which the normal, we don't know the kind of normal it will be. Yeah, anyway, it's more for the best. Yes. I'm
Thank
going to
you.
give the floor. Thank you very much. I'm going
Thank
to
you.
give the floor to Naya Lacey. Do we have Naya Lacey? Okay, Sherry, I can see Sherry.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Can you hear
good.
me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I'm here in Ghana, and although the lockdown has been lifted, I am in lockdown mode, so I am not doing a video with you all right now.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us more
Right.
about yourself, and you can go ahead.
I'm Sherry Thompson, and I'm also known as Mama Lou. That's Mamaloo. And as you can guess, that is toilet sanitation. But I actually do more than just toilet sanitation at this particular time. I advocate for plastic sanitation or plastic waste sanitation as well. But most of my focus has been on open defecation and the removal of all of that from our system, because every poo deserves a loo. So apart from that, I worked with Intra Africa Connect to actually promote continental trade among Africans. We need to begin to trade with ourselves and keep the money on the continent, keep our economies growing and flowing. As a former Made in Ghana brand ambassador, I spend a lot of time talking about Made in Ghana productivity, Made in Ghana goods, Made in Ghana services, and of course, with that, I also talk about Made in Africa products and services.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, we'd like you to tell us how this COVID-19 has affected you as a person, and how you think it would be better if the COVID-19 never came up as a pandemic, things you could have done. And now that it has happened, unfortunately, uh, how does it make you feel? I mean, how do you benefit from it? How has it benefited you?
Okay, so my mindset is always to flip the script. I do not see this pandemic in the same way that maybe most people will see this. I am not a doom and gloom person. I spend most of my time looking at the positive things that have happened.
My account is even
So
300 naira.
in Ghana, as
And
you
I'll
will
leave after to
know,
go to work on Saturday.
yes, hello?
I'm
God
listening to
bless.
you.
So,
Yeah, in somebody else is on the
so
line.
my
Please, I
garden,
do.
my
Um,
garden 1 5, whatever it is.
yeah, there's something
Okay,
else
I'm being
going on.
clear now. Okay, okay, I got it.
People need to mute.
Oh no, as in, I'm just what
Yeah, this, hello?
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
Okay, great.
Taking care of them.
So here we had lockdown, and when I went out for essential services, I noticed that the place was amazing. You could get through, you can do what you need to do. The traffic was not there. I liked that. It told me something. It said to me, if we stick to essential things that we need to do on a day-to-day basis, we could have a cleaner environment. If we stick to addressing our needs with services that help us in our home, we could have a cleaner environment. We could have less fossil fuel use, less office energy use. All of the energy use that we had outside could be focused a little bit more in the communities.
Wonderful.
I liked the idea of community. Our communities, and I'm going to say this, I'm in a community that's what we call middle class. We were able to see each other, to wave, to greet, to know that we're around. And then if anybody in the community was vulnerable, we were able to get them food boxes, uh, and items that would help them through the lockdown. What I also saw was the communities that were vulnerable. It didn't work the way I think people envisioned it working. We gave out masks to people that didn't even understand why they were using them, and so masks became part of the rubbish that was now part of the plastic rubbish, part of the other rubbish that we have going on in our impoverished communities. The education should have been more. We should have helped people understand that after lockdown, we still have a pandemic. On Monday, folks took to the streets like they've, never taken to the streets before. And it was like, business as usual. We can't
Is
have
this in
business as
Ghana?
usual. Pardon?
Is that in Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana,
Okay.
business as usual. People didn't understand that they were still to maintain social distancing.
Wow.
And that's been a problem
Wonderful.
anyway in Ghana,
Okay. Thank
because
you.
people here really do like to get close to each other. When I first came here from the United States, we have a thing called personal space. That did not exist in Ghana. So this was an opportunity with the social distancing education to teach the aspect of what personal space is. And that to me should have been more of what we were talking about.
Wonderful.
How do we keep ourselves in a personal space?
Wonderful.
So that we don't spit on each other. We don't contaminate each other with our own, whatever, sicknesses or diseases or what have you. It's important that we communicate and commune with each other, but we also need to understand social distancing, or what I would term personal space.
Wow. Thank
So
you very
that,
much.
that's been done quite a bit more.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
But to say that we are looking forward to the lessons, more of the lessons that we can learn, and more of the things that we can do to be environmentally friendly
Okay.
with those lessons.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. We are so grateful, and it means we have to be very conscious of our environment. And right now, I'm going to call on the next speaker. I hope you're ready. You can unmute your mic, um, and then you can go ahead to speak. Are you there? Are you there, Brown? Hello, Brown. Do I have a Roberta? Is Roberta there? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Morning. Idoko, can you kindly introduce yourself? We are listening to you.
Okay, good morning once again. My name is Doko Nideke, founder, CEO of Solarity Nigeria. We are in the agri-tech recycling and clean energy company. We're focused on design and developing clean and sustainable solutions for base of pyramid households and farmers living in rural and
We are finding it hard to hear you. If you can maybe increase the volume of your audio set, it would be nice for us so that we
Can you hear
can,
me now?
get closer to your speaker. It would be great.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I'm taking the we're in the agri-tech recycling and clean energy sector. We're interested in developing and providing solutions for base of pyramid households and farmers living in rural and semi-urban areas. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we are having our next speaker, Roberta Dode. You can go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, Green International. I'd already done
Tell us
introduction
how
earlier
the
before when you asked about
COVID-19
myself.
affects you and your country, and how it positively impacts you.
Okay, how it has affected me personally. Positively, it has made me to realize that there's a lot more you can do with like private time. Trying to find what exactly you can do to help your society. So with this time that I have a lot of things that I would like to do to help out in my society. Then I have had study time, enough study time. So that helps with my personal self development. Then to the society around me, that's to my environment, I think it has helped with pollution, less of pollution. Like there's no much people on the streets, so there's not a lot of stuff to be packed on the streets. And then, although people are still moving around where I am, I don't know why, but I think the state government is trying its best to curtail movement, as we've had a few um, um, incidents of the virus here. Then negatively, I've noticed that, okay, well, it's also a nice thing because the I think this moment would expose the needs that we have in Nigeria to our leaders, which I hope they would really pay attention to. We don't have good roads, we don't have good we have a lot of things that we are lacking in. So I hope this period exposes all that to our federal government.
Thank you very much.
So yeah.
So it seems like you're expecting
Yeah.
more from the government side, and you are hoping that.
Yes, I am. I really hope this thing shows them that we have a lot that we lack in Nigeria, because it's not about traveling abroad. We have nothing of those things they have here. So I hope this really
Thank you. Thank
helps
you very
out.
much. Thank you very much. Yeah. Now I'm going to call on Brown to take the floor. I hope she's ready. Brown.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Can you hear
morning.
me?
Yes.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
You.
Good morning. My name is Miss William Brown. I'm from Nigeria. Forget that I speak like this. It's a process. Well, yeah, I'm here to talk about the negative and the positive impact of COVID-19 in Nigeria. And like the other girls said before, I think Nigeria has come. The positive impact is that I think Nigeria has come to realize that their utilities that they really need to work in, like the hospitals, because they don't have like many equipments, and like they just started talking about it on the news, and I see that they're trying to fix and build things. And also, when it comes to the economy, I think they start seeing that basically everything they've gotten was actually from abroad or like outside Nigeria. So like right now, it's really affecting our economy because like there's no like there are limited resources, and like it's not really working for everyone because like the poor people are really suffering bad because like there's hunger and there's strikes, and the governments are trying to reach out to everyone. But like if they would have done a better job then than now, because like I was watching on the news and I'm seeing that they're trying to make farming very intensive, and like give every farmer a better equipment or machine to be using. And if they've done that before now, we will be better. But well, there's time for change. And the also the positive is on this is like the hygiene check has been really nice. Like for the first time I'm seeing Nigeria, everyone is actually trying to keep clean, trying to keep healthy, trying to do good, stay in their home, and it has actually been very nice for like each and every one of us. And also the holiday which everyone is going on has been very nice because the holiday has been really good for each and everyone. Everyone taking a break, no more work, and other activities. And then the negative impact on the COVID-19 is, as I said earlier, the economy. The economy has really been falling for Nigeria. It's not really working really well as it's supposed to be. Like there's really been many tough decisions to make. The like I said earlier, the poor are really affected because like those
Okay.
people that go out every day to make a
Wonderful.
living, maybe through
Wonderful.
taxis or something, they're
Wonderful.
not really having anything to eat. And not to mention that the fear that is causing between everybody, because like everyone is scared. It's like I can't leave my house, I can't do this anymore, I can't do that anymore. Like the fear is really something that is really
Wonderful.
taking over more than the COVID-19 itself. And then the rumors about the 5G, the this, the that is also something that we're critically facing. It's really tormenting, and so and well many other things. And then the people, yeah, the people is negatively affecting us because like everyone is at home. I feel because we're bored, and as young people like us, we consume data a lot, so money is going but money is not coming back. So I think like that's a very big negative impact of the COVID-19 on Nigeria as a whole.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
really appreciate that. And I believe that we have our next speaker ready now. Hyphon, do we have you ready? Hyphon? Uh, Hyphon, are you there? If you're there, you can just unmute and you go ahead. Richard, do we have Richard ready?
Yeah, Richard is here.
If Richard is ready, kindly introduce yourself and you can go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Richard Abubakar Umar. I'm from Mina, Niger State, Nigeria. I'm the executive director, Youth Voyage of Nigeria, a community-based organization here in Mina. So we are into environmental sustainability, good governance, and we are a member of the United Nations Major Group for Children and Youth. So basically, we work with young people. So we're into preparing young people for greater tidings, and
Okay,
we
thank you
are
very
into
much. Richard, kindly tell us how this COVID-19 issues has affected you and how it has made a positive impact to you and how it has affected the planet, and how you think it is good for the planet.
Yeah, actually, the COVID-19 has the lockdown has really made the environment to be cleaner. We're all witnesses to the drastic change in the global emission and the drop down in global emission. I was just reading a piece this morning. I was looking at the percentage in the drops in different countries from America to China. And all this is positive for the environment. And for my own community here where I am, the actually people are complying with the lockdown. They're trying to comply with the lockdown because we have a lot of low income earners and those that survive on daily income. So they find it difficult to stay at home, though government is trying to get palliatives circulated around, but it's not just enough. So some individuals, some organizations are complementing government efforts as well by reaching out to the low income earners with food and supplies so that it can enable them obey the lockdown order. And again, for the food chain, though in Nigeria there are exemptions for pharmaceuticals and food processing companies, I happen to own one small food processing company, and we've been able to keep up with production, and other companies as well are keeping up with production in terms of food, so that the food chain doesn't get distorted by hello.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so that the food chain doesn't get distorted because people must eat, and at intervals that where I am for like on Thursdays and on Mondays are days for people to go out and get food. Though we only had one index case, and I think since that incident happened, the entire area where the patient was discovered was quarantined, and government is really putting attention in that area and giving them food. They are not going out for 14 days. Securities are being mounted. So even when there's an opening for people to go out to stock up, that particular area, they don't go out. And
Oh,
they've been under quarantine
oh,
or for the past 7 days.
wow. Thank you
So
very much.
here where I am,
Hmm. Okay.
here where I am is a bit coordinated, and we don't have cases as such.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
we were.
Thank you. Okay.
Can you
And
hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. The only challenge I feel we have is the challenge of providing security agents that are manning the gates,
Okay.
because there's a restriction in movement. There's
Okay.
a restriction in movement. So
Okay.
most of them are not well heated or well
Thank you.
protected.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to give the floor to Ifan. Ifan, do I have you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, hello everyone, and good morning. This is morning here in Germany. I will just introduce myself. I'm Irfanullah from Pakistan, but nowadays I'm here in Germany doing my master from United Nations University. By the time I'm working with Yongo, the youth constituency of UNFCCC, and also working with United Nations Major Group for Children in Youth. Yeah.
Ifan, tell us how this COVID-19 has have a negative impact and a positive impact in your own view. And also let us know how this has really helped save the planet. Thank you.
Yeah, if we talk about the negative impacts, I think so everyone is being affected severely. But this crisis, like I think so it's the crisis which not affected just one sector of one country, but it's affecting every sector of every country around the globe. And same with me, like I was supposed to go for some conferences and trainings, which I can't really make it. But still, we shouldn't be disappointed, especially the climate activist. It didn't mean that if you can't attend a session or can't travel anywhere, so you will not like keep yourself pushing. So still we are pushing and we are trying to do a meeting virtually and things like that. So it was actually one of the kind of negative impact, especially the like this year this COP was supposed to be held in Glasgow, but they delayed it till next year. So still, we the young activists around the globe, like the people like you, which have really a passion to do something very fruitful in the community. So I think so. Still, it's kind of having opportunity that we push more for the coming year. Although if we see this crisis can have some positive impact and greenhouse gas emission in like if we see the emission is getting reduced, so yeah, we can say that yeah, it having some impacts on the world climate change scenario. So yeah, it was one of the negative impacts which really affected my, because I will also supposed to do my field trip, but I can't make it. So this is one of the negative. But the positive impact, yeah, as I already mentioned, somehow it gave us the opportunity to also read ourselves, or to study ourselves, to stay in home, to spend time with our parents, and to just to get ourselves. To be honest, like sometimes we also need to know about ourselves. That what our weaknesses, what the things that we are doing is having a fruitful result in the end of the day or not. So I think so it's also having this impacts. And also it gave us like the true sense of how globally we are connected and how socially we are connected. And then you see, okay, for example, this lockdown, you can easily get this know-how that yeah, we should for a noble cause to fight a common enemy, we should be connected and we should be socially coherent.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is a very great contribution from your side. Thank you very much.
Ah,
And
thank you.
most of the people that are in the African continent, it seems that some of them are waiting for palliatives from their government, which they are not. They are saying that they are not getting. But do you have the same issue in your country where you reside now?
Can you repeat your question? Sorry, I didn't
Incentives.
got your what.
Talking about incentives. Some of
Incentive.
yeah, do
Okay.
your government give incentives
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
to stay
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah.
in your country? You are speaking from Germany.
Yeah, actually, basically I'm from Pakistan, but I'm staying in Germany. But in Germany, yeah, it's not a big deal for the people here. They having the resources, so they can manage it, and they are doing a great job. Especially like Germany is the one country around the globe which having a lot of like corona effective, but the debt toll is not that much. It's in because they're having a very good health system. But back in my country, yeah, the government is having a very good initiative. Like they are providing them a monthly. Uh, a monthly kind of stipend to those people who can't work outside. So on monthly basis, they are getting the money from the government, and they can buy their groceries. So it's
Wonderful.
actually a very great job that our country these days are involving in doing to keep the people in their lockdown and not letting them to go outside and to being affected by this crisis.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alfred. You have made a very
You're
wonderful
welcome.
contribution.
Yeah, you're
And
welcome. It was not.
yes,
It was
thank
pleasure talking to
you. And
you. So
I would
take
like to
care and
have
stay safe.
right now. I'm calling on the next speaker. I believe you are ready. You can take the floor. Desimon, are you there? Uh, I can see that if Decimon is not ready, let me go for. I can see we have a Dawood Adams. Dawood Adams, are you there?
Yeah, Michael.
You can, if you're there, you can
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead
there.
and introduce yourself and tell us how the COVID-19 journey has been for you.
Okay. All right. Good morning to you all. Please, my name is Dawood Adam. I'm from Ghana. I'm the regional director of Greenway International Foundation in Northern Ghana, operating officer for VFS Global. Well, COVID-19 has come with its negative and its positives as well. Because I can say that when you take a look at what is happening in Ghana here, with the positive impacts, with the positive impacts, I'm going to talk about organizations. I can say companies have now realized that they don't need an office space to actually operate. I can say that companies that have now valued the importance of working remotely. And in fact, spending money to go and rent office space to do businesses nowadays, after post-COVID-19, companies will no more spend money to go and rent office space again. Also, one thing I realized about African government is I realized that countries have now realized that emergency governance is the only key that can solve COVID-19. So countries are now trying to come together, both opposition parties and ruling parties now come together, bring out ideas to solve.
Hello? Okay, it seems like we have lost Dawood, but it is possible that you come back. But can we have, I think I can see Ida Nate. Are you there? If Ida is there, you can, and also we have on board right now Gatis, who is joining us from Latvia. And Gatis, you can hear me? You can kindly introduce yourself and tell us about the COVID-19 journey for you as a person, and how it has affected you positively and negatively. Thank you.
Hey, can I speak now?
Yes, right.
Sveiki, labdien! Sveiciens visiem no Latvijas. Hello from Latvia, it's in English. I'm cartoonist, illustrator, Gatis Šļūka. So about positive, children physically don't have to go to school these days. They can learn online. So I can live with my family in my country house already in spring, not only in summer as usual. I can work now on projects which I have been putting off due to lack of time. So about negative, I can draw live caricatures because events are not allowed, and it is not known when they will start again. And what more I would like to say about planet is also in this pandemic time, I would like that people are not forget about environment, about ways to use
Go with it, you come
less
back now. My
plastic
name more
every
than
day,
that.
and to
Eh?
take care about
Go with
Can you
it.
speak? Please unmute your mic. Please unmute your mic and mute your mic. Sorry, I mean mute your mic. This is why I've been muting some people.
This is cartoon from me.
Okay, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. And
so I'm finished. Yep.
Go on. We are listening.
So I'm finished. I've done
Thank you very much.
talk.
We really appreciate you. And our next speaker, we are waiting to bring on board now. If you are there, you can unmute your speaker to speak. If you're speaking, call on Nate, Ida Nate. If you are there, unmute to speak. And you can take the floor now, Ida.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Go ahead. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Aida Pajikonate. I happen to be, I'm from Ghana, and I happen to be an electrical engineer and also a media personality. I host a technology dialogue on social media. Okay, so COVID-19, right? The good, the bad, and the not so bad. So basically, let's talk about the bad first. So in terms of business, I work with a production company. We do supplies and installation. Now, this pandemic, we work with global companies all over the world. We do supplies from different countries, China, Italy, all these countries that have been affected. And because of that, has halted supply rates, and it's causing a financial loss to companies, not just my company, but companies all over the country. But then, and also for my show, we had to put it on hold because we like to do a live discussion where we have people on sets and we actually interact with them. So most of the things I'm involved in are on hold or partially on hold. But with regards to my office, right, the good part is that now everybody's adapting to working from home. We are re-strategizing to see people who necessarily have to come to the office, and people are being what's the word, graded based on their productivity and not just the number of hours you spent in the office. So that's a positive to this whole thing. In terms of other people are getting to bond better with their families. People are having more family time. People are, personally, I'm actually taking an extra course online with Yale University, which I couldn't do before because I had to spend my whole day at work. And it's really beneficial. I get to read more books and still do my office work and still be productive. So these are some of the positives to this whole pandemic. And I think that depending on the angle you look at it from, you could actually come out a better person, because here's the case where you can actually be productive at work and also do your personal stuff and get a bond with your family, or you could just while away time and just waste time. So I'd like to encourage everybody out there, follow the protocols, social distancing, wash your hands, stay at home, but make sure you're also developing yourself and make sure you're also relevant to your office, so that in case they want to lay off some workers or do something, they know that you can still work from home, and therefore they would want to add you to the team. So basically,
Wonderful.
that's all I have to add.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It means we should stay productive. If we are locked down in the house, we shouldn't be locked down in our mind, if that is well communicated. Thank you very much, Ida. And I'm going to take on the next speaker. If you can hear me, I'm going to call on you. Do we have Chinenyenwa Ukoro Onu? Chinenyenwa, if you are ready, you can unmute and speak. If you are there, go ahead and speak to us. We are listening to you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. How are you doing? My name is, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Chinewa Okoronu. I am from Ghana as well. I run an organization called the Waste Upgrade Hub. Basically, COVID-19 is a pandemic that will change the narrative across how business is done globally and locally. With myself, we had an entire remodeling plan for our work here. And the beginning of the year, we had to go on a training in Kenya where we had to learn a new method of doing that, which is around prototyping and design from sustainable materials. So basically what we do at our organization is come up with new, innovative and creative ways at which people can be sustainable generally, protecting our environment, but most importantly, using one of our biggest menace, which is of course waste, to create and innovate. But then looking at what COVID-19 is and how it affects the human and the workforce generally, the struggle has been around getting people on ground, especially if you're in manufacturing or production, right? The other angle of a business, which is around content developing and all of that, that could be done remotely. but for on ground work, it's very challenging. And of course, because we also work with schools, and schools are currently on, vacation, I would say, or because of the whole pandemic thing, they are no longer going to school. For some of the schools, which are private schools, they have a learning lab systems where they can learn online. But for the public school, there is no online strategy for the students. Of course, because some of the kids are from rural communities, they do not have laptops, they do not have internet, neither do they even have any form of educational materials that they would use to learn. So I would say that COVID-19 has kind of like dug a lot of holes in our entire system, not just in the government, but also in our educational systems, in our ways of life, in our ways of doing business. And I would say that it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because if we do things right, to be able to breach all of those loopholes, doing businesses, making impact to be a lot more easier moving forward. But if we are not able to do that, then we've set up ourselves for failure. So basically what we're doing right now is see how we can bridge some of those gaps around creating an educational system that could work either offline and online, how we can support public schools who do not have access to learning materials, of course, because they're not in schools, but they're in their various homes, how we can reach them, reach their families, and also how we can continue to drive the conversation for environmental and climate change, generally, because right now it feels like the world has moved from climate change, environmental sustainability. Everyone is all screaming COVID-19, 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 but forgetting the fact that we still have that dilemma sitting and waiting for us. So I would say that COVID-19 is an opportunity, a great opportunity and a great deal for us to start rewriting, our codes in terms of rewriting our codes around how we do our businesses, the kind of impact we want to make, how we can drive solution intensely, methods and ways to do it, because that's very much important.
Wonderful.
And generally, be closer to ourselves, understand the importance of having each other, because this is the best time to drive collaboration, and we can do it whether we are indoors or outdoors. We can better ourselves, and I think these are the kind of things that COVID-19 has exposed us to generally. But for me, I'll continue to say, look, it's a blessing, it's not a curse. If only we do the right things, and if only we can see the opportunities lying in between this problem. And also, let's take the whole precaution seriously, because of course people are dying. It's no joke. You can only be alive to be able to drive your innovation or your business whatsoever. So let's keep safe. At the same time, use this opportunity to think about how we can drive sustainable impact across our communities that would also go, beyond us to across the world.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's a great contribution. And we're so happy to hear from you. And I'm calling on the next speaker now, and I believe you are ready to speak. Obon Noel. We have Obon Noel ready. Obon Noel, are you there? Okay. Calling on the next speaker, Ellen Lindsay. Are you there?
Yeah, Michael, I'm here.
Okay, go on. We're listening to you. Thank you. Kindly introduce yourself and tell us how the COVID-19 has impacted you personally, and the positive and the negative side of COVID-19 to you in your own words. Thank you. Go on.
All right. Yeah, Michael, thank you very much for the platform. For me personally, COVID-19 had like a very I don't know, strong impact, because when this whole thing started, like I was away on a trip abroad, and then when I came back to the country, I had to like go for 2 weeks self-quarantine. It was a bit difficult because even in the 2 weeks, even my own friends were treating me with a lot of stigma. people like when I even came out of the quarantine, people still didn't want to come close to me, and they will always ask me, I mean in a joking way, but yes, it also had a bit of an impact. They will always ask me, are you sure you don't have the virus? Okay, but yeah, I got through it, and that is good. Now I'm okay. And after that, we had the lockdown in Ghana, and this has really affected my work. As you know, I'm the national coordinator for Young Reporters for the Environment Ghana and Eco Schools Ghana. At the same time, I also work for like a global non-for-profit that is working on child rights protection. And in this time, it's been very, like, very scared. They've been going through a lot because they don't know what is going to be the outcome for them. And so it has been very challenging to even have any kind of meaningful engagement. But also we use the time to like get to know our members one-on-one, to talk to them and be a support for them, and try to like understand their challenges and to see how we can operate together as like an organization to support our members. Also, COVID-19 also helped me personally to realize the loopholes that we have in our social systems, the inequalities and the unfair conditions that is happening. You realize, for example, in Ghana, that we had the issue with the Kayaye's, and we had the issue with poor homeless people on the street. Everybody is supposed to be isolated and also to be like practice social distance, and nobody's supposed to go to work, but people didn't have food. People didn't have the basic essentials to keep them safe. So it became very challenging. And YRE, for example, we tried to do something by trying to partner with some organizations to help provide food for people. But it also like helped me to realize from henceforth, what should I be concentrating on as like someone who is interested in the well-being of people, and what someone who is interested in social development. But also one good thing that came out of this for me is that I also had another opportunity to take up an online course. This I couldn't have done at, within normal times, but yes, let's say this has given me the opportunity to do something that I have always yearned to do, and I have the flexibility to take the course. I also have the flexibility to work from home, and I think this has been good in a way.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very
basically,
much.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are so grateful. I'm gonna call from on Murphy Mwanga. I believe you are ready. And if you're not speaking, please mute your mic. Calling from Murphy. Murphy, are you there?
Please, I'm not sure. Excuse
Okay,
me.
Naya Lacey.
Oh, never mind. I
Go
see it
ahead.
now.
Naya Lacey, you can go on. Go on. I think you're the next in line. Naya Lacey, are you there? Naya Lacey?
Okay, yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. This is only my first time on Zoom. Greetings, everyone. I bid you peace and blessings. I'm here in Ghana. This situation, this unprecedented situation, has left me in a state of at first sheer panic. And that's because a lot of my loved ones are in California, where it was ground zero in America. And so I was very fearful for them. But when I speak to them, they don't know anyone who has contracted it, and they haven't contracted it either. So I'm resting a bit easier. While here in Ghana, I am trying to just stay at home, even though the ban has been lifted a bit. I'm going to self-govern by staying at home and just not put myself in harm's way if at all possible, because our numbers seem to just be growing each day here in Ghana. What I would like to do, I have on my Facebook page, is a segment that I call I Survived Koro, and I would like to just invite everyone to if they know anyone who has contracted it and survived, or if they currently have it, or know someone who has, what did they use
You know, what was their regimen? Because the government is not telling us anything about how people, when they say they've released people from the hospital, they didn't say what treatment they gave them. They didn't tell them what it is that has now allowed them to become now negative and go home. And I think that is essential information for everyone in the world. What did you do? What did you take? Did you drink some neem? Did you take this this hydrochloroquine? What is it that was administered, so that we know, so that we're not just living in panic and uncertainty and fear, but we need to have some hope and some empowerment. So I'm just here in the house, trying not to stress. The good thing is that I've been able to read and write, and that's about it. Nothing else good has come from this, except now that trying to make sure that we empower one another.
Okay, thank you. There's a poem I read about on your page some times ago. Today being a Health Day, I'll just let me say, I'll ask you if you would be so kind to actually recite the poem for us, so that you know, we can you know, benefit from it on a Health Day like this. We are going to give you 1 minute so that we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Which poem, Michael?
It's about the head. I can remember just a few. You said when the COVID-19 came, people couldn't. Paris wasn't nice, wasn't romantic anymore. You know.
Oh, you know what? I didn't actually write that. I got that from someone else's post. I would have to find it. Okay. Look, let's continue what we're doing, and what I'll do is I'll find it and I'll post it.
Okay, thank you very much.
It wasn't a poem that I had written.
I'm going to call on,
but I do know what you're talking about now.
I have Amanjit Singh from India. Amand, if you're ready, you can unmute your mic. Amand, if you can hear me, you can go ahead and.
Yeah. Hello, am I audible? Right. Hello.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, sure. So myself, Harmanjit Singh. I am from India, and I am working in SM Sehgal Foundation. It's an NGO working for the 21 years for the environment sustainability in the water and agriculture sustainability management. So according to me, in India, for the positives of COVID-19, I would say first. So first of all, on the terms of society, the government did a direct based transfer into the Aadhaar linked bank account of more than 4 crore women beneficiaries. 28,000 rupees crore has been released to 30 crore beneficiaries to the Pradhan Mantri Jan Kalyan Yojana. So, and second point, I would say that air pollution in New Delhi and different parts of metro cities of India has been drastically gone down. So, and third point, I would say that people are now thinking to have alternate source of income, and they are coming out of the traditional jobs. Work from home is now the new era, and many companies are effectively managing it. Thereby, employees are giving more time to their children and families. So these are the positives of COVID-19, which India and my organizations are working on. Yeah, and the negatives of COVID-19, I would say, we all know that COVID-19 has taken more than 1.5 lakhs in the global level, and in India, around 600 people have been died. So it has been a huge impact on the lives of the people. Second point is that there is a complete blockage of supply and chain management of the basic essentials to the needy people. Many people are scarce for the getting their basic essential foods and supplements in the rural areas. Almost 50% of the companies will have the negative impact due to this. So all the CSR funds and the donations are now going towards the immediate relief packages, that is for the foods, masks, and healthcare facilities. Now the shift has been downturned to these healthcare facilities, and we as a working for the environment domain, that is for the water and agriculture sector, now it will be having greater impact, that they would not be getting more funds for these domains. So I would say that we should have to work for the similar line, that how we can leverage funds for the environment sustainability management. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Singh. We are so happy to receive your contribution. And now I'm going to call on the next speaker. I believe you're ready, Daniela. If you're there, you can mute and you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Daniela? Okay, do we have Philip Jemfi? Philip Jemfi? Okay, I'm gonna call on Aminat. If you're ready, you can go on. Aminat, are you there? Okay, you can unmute to speak. Philip Jamfi, I've called you. And Aminat, I've called Daniela. If you're there. Okay.
Yes. Hi. Can you see me? Yes.
Yes, Daniela.
Hi.
We have Daniela on the line.
Hi. Hi.
We can all hear.
Hi, everybody. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day to you.
Is it possible to present on small slides or not?
If you can do that within the allotted time, it is okay. You can go ahead. We are
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We are so glad and
okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello. We can all hear you.
Hello,
we can hear you.
everybody,
Go on.
and happy Earth Day. I'm Dani Cordova from Ecuador, a beautiful country in South America, blessed with the Galapagos Islands and the Amazon region. I have a PhD in engineering design and circular economy, and I am currently working as regional consultant in sustainable development and circular production. One of my missions is to change the linear production of industry based on natural resources extraction, manufacturing, consumption, and waste generation. For this reason, this year I am training 2,000 consumers on changing their production and lifestyle into sustainable and circular habits. As I mentioned before, the actual model of production and consumption sooner or later won't be viable anymore. Therefore, through different campaigns of freemium webinars being based on SDGs and circular tools, I have been empowering consumers at home and workers from important economic sectors in my country and in the region in Latin America to move towards circularity in order to reduce, reuse, recycle, and recover materials from waste to protect our environment, our house, and our earth. So thank you very much for the invitation, and once again, happy Earth Day.
Thank you very much. We are so glad to receive your presentation. We are hoping that you will still tell us a little bit about your personal view on COVID-19, the positive and the negative effect on the planet.
From the on this time during the quarantine or
yes,
or over
during
these
the quarantine.
years. Okay, during the quarantine here in Latin America particularly, we have changed some habits, particularly the way how we are consumed. I think we are more interested and and we know the things that we need, particularly the food that we need to consume. The main problem is that waste increase, plastic waste, and the use of water. One of the other problems that we have that I have seen in Ecuador and in Latin America is also the the increasing the increasing of infections. And the problem is that here many people live with the work that they are working every day. So if they don't work one day, they don't earn money. So many people, they are just going out and start selling things in order to produce and gain some money and give their money to their families and food. So I think it's similar in your region, but I don't know. I don't know. In Latin America, we still have problems of poverty and some of lack education, and many people think that they don't even care if they get infected because they don't have money to eat. So that's one of the main problems here
Wow.
in Latin America.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your contribution. Now I'm going to call on the next speaker. You get to take the floor. We have Mr. Philip GMP. Please go on. You have the floor. Philip GMP, are you there? Okay, let us quickly take Murphy Mwanga. If you're there, Murphy, go on.
Yes, I'm there.
Go on.
I'm there.
Introduce yourself and
Thank
tell us
you.
how COVID-19 has impacted you and the positive and the negative side of it.
Okay, thank you. I'm Dr. Mwanga Murphy from DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. But actually, I'm based in Zambia, where I'm working. I'm also an activist in environment, working with Congo environment in a town here in Zambia. We are not.
Go on. Go on. Are you there? Okay, I think we lost him. Let us take Mr. Philip Jamfi. Murphy, you come back. Mr. Philip Jamfi, if you're there, you can quickly speak to us. We are listening to you. Thank you. Do we have Philip now? Philip, kindly unmute to speak. If you're speaking, once I call you, kindly unmute. And if you are having a problem, quickly send me a
Good morning,
message.
everyone. Michael, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Kindly quickly send me a message in the chat box for the Zoom if you are still having issue to speak. Quickly send me a message, and when I call your name.
Hello,
quickly
Michael, good
unmute
morning.
yourself to speak. Good morning, Mr. Philip. Go ahead. We are all listening to you.
Hello, good morning, Michael. Hello, good morning, Michael.
We are listening to you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Yes, I would want to say a very good morning to everyone listening to me. I'm Philip Jenfi, the Executive Chairman of Ghana International Model United Nations, and also the Board Chairman for Petrens Incorporated, based in the United States. As an event organizing company, Petrens Incorporated and GMON have been hit hard by this pandemic because due to the pandemic, people cannot move from one place to another for events and conferences. So in our case, most of the conferences that were scheduled to take place from August have to be rescheduled to later in the year, maybe from November or December, and probably to January or February next year. It's having an economic impact on our activities because we are unable to make sales, we are not able to meet our target, and it has called for us to change so many things in our organizations. For instance, we had to reduce the expected number of participants for our next conferences because we anticipate that after this pandemic has been dealt with, there is going to be economic challenges, which would make it very difficult for people to attend events and conferences, especially outside their jurisdictions. So it's going to affect our sales hugely. It's going to affect our staffing. So in our case, because Petrens is a new company emerging, we had to put on hold some of the recruitment that we were doing. And even those that we had recruited earlier, we had to do what we call the downsizing by asking some people to be on hold for now. It's in a way, for us, personally, it has helped me to connect with people which I barely see them. Most of the times I'm on campus, in the office, working all day, all night to arrange events and all that. But because of the pandemic, you are able to meet your family and stay with your family and spend some good time with them. So on the good side, it has helped us bring bonds within our family. Another thing that has really this pandemic or the lockdowns has helped me and our team is that it has made us more innovative. In fact, we didn't anticipate putting all our conferences online, but because of the lockdowns, now it's a policy that every conference that we are going to do, we are going to first have this conference online so that the number of days that we could have spent physically would be reduced. For instance, if we were to spend 3 days at the conference ground, what we are going to do is a month before the main conference, we would have our online sessions. And during the main conference, which is the fiscal conference, instead of 3 days, then it would be 2 days because most of the issues have already been discussed online. It's also given us the opportunity to innovate and see that we will be able to reach out to many people. We'll be able to impact many lives online rather than meeting in person. Not everybody would have money or the funds to buy a ticket, pay for events tickets, for accommodation, hotel accommodation, and all that in order to acquire knowledge or share information. But once we're able to put people online like we are doing now, we're able to share information and people would be able to also share their ideas in how we can make the world a better place for humanity.
Thank you.
I would end by urging people that we have to stay with the precautions. We have to be careful with ourselves. We have to adhere to the precautionary measures that various governments have put in place. We have to wash our hands, use sanitizers. If possible, if you don't have anything doing in town, some countries have lifted their bans. But if you don't have anything meaningful to do in town, just stay home. And we must remember, adverse cities must give birth to innovations. So despite these challenges in global economic, global pandemic, we should still be innovative. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Philip. We really appreciate